There can be no rebirth without a dark night of the soul. These words from mystic Hazrat Inayat Khan describe what psychologists now call post-traumatic growth, and neuroscientists term neuroplastic transformation. Have you been experiencing a profound sense of emptiness, questioning everything you once believed? Modern research reveals that this experience, known across cultures as the dark night of the soul, actually rewires your brain, creating new neural pathways that enable higher states of consciousness. Today, we'll explore how ancient wisdom and cutting-edge science explain this transformative process, and why it might be the most important journey you'll ever take. What mystics have known for millennia, science is now confirming. Periods of intense spiritual crisis can lead to extraordinary psychological and neurological transformation. A 2021 study in the Journal of Positive Psychology found that 87% of people who went through a profound spiritual crisis reported significant positive changes in their lives afterward. From the Buddha's night under the Bodhi tree to St. John of the Cross's dark night, from Native American vision quests to Australian Aboriginal walkabouts, cultures worldwide recognize this pattern of dissolution and rebirth. Let's explore how modern research validates these ancient insights, giving you practical tools for navigating your own transformation. Recent neuroscience research at Imperial College London has shown that during profound spiritual experiences, the brain's default mode network, associated with our sense of self, temporarily shuts down. This is remarkably similar to what mystics describe as ego death during the dark night of the soul. Dr. Lisa Miller's research at Columbia University reveals that people who undergo spiritual transformations show increased thickness in their cerebral cortex, particularly in areas associated with awareness and emotional regulation. This physical brain change mirrors what spiritual traditions call awakening. Consider these scientific indicators of a spiritual crisis. Increased activity in the parietal lobe associated with altered states of consciousness. Changes in the production of neurotransmitters like serotonin and DMT. Shifts in brainwave patterns showing more theta and gamma waves. Activation of the pineal gland, which ancient traditions called the seat of the soul. But here's what makes this different from clinical depression. Brain scans show that while depression decreases brain connectivity, spiritual crisis actually increases it, preparing the mind for a new way of being. This transformative process appears in remarkably similar forms across cultures. First, in shamanic traditions, the dismemberment vision. In this profound visionary experience, the initiate sees their body being torn apart by spirits or divine beings. This symbolic death represents the complete dissolution of the old self, allowing for reconstruction as a healed and more powerful being. Many shamanic cultures, from Siberian to South American traditions, describe this as a necessary initiation that marks the death of the ordinary person and the birth of the healer. The vision quest. During this sacred ritual, the seeker spends extended time alone in nature, often without food or basic comforts. This deliberate isolation strips away social conditioning and ego attachments, creating space for direct communication with the spirit world. Native American traditions particularly emphasize how this practice not only reveals one's life purpose, but also connects the individual to the greater web of existence. The shamanic illness. This mysterious ailment often strikes future shamans, manifesting as physical or mental illness that conventional medicine cannot cure. The suffering serves as an initiation, teaching the future healer, through direct experience, how to navigate between the worlds of sickness and health. Many indigenous cultures believe this illness gives the shaman their healing gifts, as they must first heal themselves before they can help others. Second, in Eastern philosophy, Satori in Buddhism. This sudden flash of enlightenment represents a complete shift in consciousness, where the illusion of the separate self dissolves. Unlike gradual enlightenment, Satori comes as a dramatic breakthrough, often following periods of intense questioning or meditation. Zen Buddhism particularly emphasizes these moments of sudden awakening, teaching that they can occur in any ordinary moment when the mind becomes completely present. Tapasya in Hinduism. This process of spiritual purification involves voluntary self-discipline and often includes practices like meditation, fasting, and austere living conditions. The word itself means to heat, suggesting how this practice burns away impurities and karmic obstacles. Hindu texts describe how great sages and even deities underwent tapasya to achieve their spiritual goals, showing its fundamental role in transformation. Wu Wei in Taoism. This principle of non-doing or effortless action represents a state of perfect alignment with the Tao, achieved through surrendering personal will. Rather than passive inaction, Wu Wei describes moving through life with the natural flow of existence, like a leaf carried by a river. Taoist masters teach that this state comes only after one has released all resistance and attachment to outcome. Third, in Western mysticism, the alchemical nigredo. In spiritual alchemy, this blackening phase represents the dark night of the soul, where the raw material of the self must decompose before transformation can occur. Just as metal must be heated until it blackens before it can be purified, the ego must undergo a similar process of breaking down. Medieval alchemists saw this as both a physical and spiritual process, teaching that the outer transformation of materials reflected an inner transformation of consciousness. The Christian desert experience. Following Christ's 40 days in the wilderness, Christian mystics have long sought transformation through periods of isolation and spiritual testing. This desert time strips away worldly attachments and forces confrontation with one's inner demons. The early desert fathers and mothers of Christianity taught that this barren landscape, both literal and metaphorical, creates the perfect conditions for divine encounter. The Kabbalistic descent through the abyss. In Jewish mysticism, this represents crossing Da'at, the invisible sephira on the tree of life, often called the abyss. This crossing requires facing complete emptiness and the dissolution of all known reality. Kabbalistic teachings describe this as a necessary stage in spiritual development, where one must confront and move through absolute uncertainty before achieving higher consciousness. Many consider this the most challenging phase of the mystical journey, as it requires surrendering all previous understanding of God and self. Each of these traditions, while unique in their expression, points to a universal pattern in human spiritual development, the necessity of facing darkness and dissolution before experiencing profound transformation. Modern seekers can find comfort in knowing their struggles mirror these ancient paths to awakening. Let's explore what happens in your brain and psyche during each phase of this journey. Phase 1. Initiation. The earthquake. Imagine an earthquake shaking the foundations of a city. Just as the ground begins to tremble and familiar structures start to sway, your entire worldview begins to quake during the initiation phase. The stable ground you once stood upon no longer feels secure, and everything you thought you knew comes into question. This looks like a sudden inability to find comfort in old beliefs and patterns, intense questioning of everything you once took for granted, heightened awareness of life's deeper questions, a feeling of being awakened from a long sleep. The brain during this phase shows decreased activity in the default mode network, making the familiar feel strange, heightened analytical thinking as you question your reality, release of stress hormones, creating a state of heightened alertness, activation of the brain's conflict monitoring systems, making you more aware of inconsistencies in your beliefs. Phase 2. Deconstruction, the demolition. Picture an old building being carefully demolished to make way for something new. Each floor, each wall, each foundation piece must come down in a specific order. This is your consciousness during the deconstruction phase, as old beliefs and patterns are systematically dismantled. This looks like old beliefs falling away like dominoes, sudden insights that change your entire perspective, spontaneous mystical or transcendent experiences, a sense that you're seeing through the matrix. The brain during this phase shows neural pathways temporarily disrupting, allowing new connections to form. Increased brain plasticity, making change possible. Natural DMT release, often leading to vivid dreams or visions. Heightened activity in areas associated with mystical experiences. Phase 3. Void state. The cocoon. Imagine a caterpillar in its chrysalis having dissolved into a liquid state before reforming as a butterfly. This is you in the void state. No longer who you were, but not yet who you'll become. It's the great emptiness where transformation happens. This looks like deep periods of seeming emptiness or meaninglessness, feeling disconnected from your old identity, a sense of floating or being without anchors. Profound stillness beneath the surface chaos. The brain during this phase shows theta brainwave patterns similar to deep meditation, temporary confusion about time and space, increased production of growth factors that rebuild neural connections, enhanced ability to prune away old patterns and create new ones. Phase 4. Integration. The phoenix rising. Picture a phoenix rising from its own ashes, its new form incorporating elements of its past self, but transformed into something more magnificent. This is you during integration, as all the pieces come together in a new, more evolved configuration. This looks like a new sense of clarity and purpose emerging, ability to hold paradox and complexity with ease, natural wisdom and insight flowing through you, deeper connection to both self and others. The brain during this phase shows new neural networks forming, creating new ways of thinking, better communication between logical and intuitive brain centers, growth in areas associated with self-awareness, improved ability to regulate emotions and stress responses. Remember, just as every butterfly must go through its chrysalis phase and every phoenix must burn before rising, these stages are not just normal, they're necessary for transformation. Your brain is literally rebuilding itself to accommodate a higher level of consciousness, and each uncomfortable moment is part of this sacred process. Ancient mystics understood what modern science now confirms. There are specific practices that can support and accelerate your spiritual transformation. Let's explore these powerful tools that bridge the gap between ancient wisdom and contemporary research. Meditation and mindfulness, the foundation of transformation. When you sit in meditation, something remarkable happens in your brain. The amygdala, your brain's fear center, begins to quiet down, creating a profound sense of peace and stability. Think of meditation like a gentle rain washing away the dust of daily stress from your mind. As you continue this practice, your brain actually begins to change its structure, building new neural pathways and increasing gray matter in regions responsible for emotional regulation. The production of GABA, your brain's natural calming neurotransmitter, increases, creating what scientists call a relaxation response. This isn't just theory. Research shows that just 20 minutes of daily meditation creates measurable changes in brain structure and function. These changes support you through the challenging phases of transformation, providing an anchor of stability in the storm of change. The wisdom of the body. Your body holds deep wisdom, and accessing this wisdom through movement can accelerate your transformation. Consider practices like yoga and qigong. These aren't just exercises, but sophisticated technologies for regulating your nervous system. As you move through these practices, your vagus nerve, the master regulator of your nervous system, becomes toned and balanced, like a musician tuning a delicate instrument. Conscious breathwork takes this even further, directly communicating with your autonomic nervous system, telling your body it's safe to transform. Movement isn't just about physical fitness, it's about processing emotional energy stored in your tissues. And perhaps most powerfully, time spent in nature has been shown to significantly reduce cortisol levels, creating the perfect biological conditions for deep transformation. The power of psychological integration. Transformation isn't just a spiritual journey, it's also a psychological one. Modern psychology offers powerful tools for integrating your experiences. Transpersonal psychology, which bridges the gap between spiritual awakening and psychological health, provides frameworks for understanding and integrating profound experiences. Mindfulness-based cognitive therapy helps you work with challenging thoughts and emotions that arise during transformation. Somatic experiencing techniques allow you to process change at the level of your nervous system, where deep transformation often begins. And importantly, community support groups remind you that you're not alone on this journey. When others witness and validate your experience, it creates a container of safety for deep change to occur, creating a lifestyle that supports transformation. Think of your daily habits as the soil in which transformation grows. Just as a garden needs the right conditions to flourish, your transformation needs the support of aligned daily practices. Everything begins with your sleep-wake cycle. When you align with natural circadian rhythms, you're working with, rather than against, your body's innate wisdom. An anti-inflammatory diet rich in brain-supporting nutrients provides the building blocks for new neural growth. Regular exercise doesn't just keep you fit, it promotes neurogenesis, the birth of new brain cells, creating more capacity for transformation. And perhaps most importantly, ensuring adequate rest gives your system the time it needs to integrate changes at the deepest levels. The key to working with these tools is consistency rather than intensity. Think of it like tending a garden. Regular, gentle care yields better results than sporadic, aggressive intervention. You're not just changing your mind, you're literally rebuilding your brain and nervous system to support a higher state of consciousness. Each practice, each choice, each moment of rest is contributing to your transformation in ways that science is only beginning to understand. Remember, transformation is a natural process. These tools don't force change. They create optimal conditions for your natural evolution to unfold. Just as a butterfly doesn't need to be taught how to emerge from its chrysalis, your consciousness knows how to evolve. These practices simply support what's already waiting to emerge within you. As you navigate your own dark night, remember that you're experiencing a scientifically validated process of transformation that mystics have understood for millennia. Your brain is literally rewiring itself for a higher state of consciousness. If you found this information helpful, please like and subscribe for more videos bridging ancient wisdom with modern science. Check out our video on the hidden teachings of Jesus to explore more about the pineal gland's role in spiritual awakening. Until next time, trust both the ancient wisdom and the science confirming your journey of transformation on your path to a better life.